guys, it's your girl from Philly. Welcome to another episode of Handcrafted Wine, where we make great wine from home the fun and easy way. Before we get started, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any episodes.
I'm stuck in a cloud, drifting away to get out.
Making one of my own original recipes, which is peach sweet tea wine. We'll be using 3 pounds of frozen peaches, 4 iced tea bags, and if you didn't have iced tea bags, you could use 6 to 8 regular black tea bags, 2.5 cups of sugar, our usual players, which is our pectic enzyme to break down the fruit walls in our peaches, acid blend to create the proper pH balance or acidic balance in our batch, our dynamic duo, which is our yeast nutrient and our yeast energizer. And for our yeast, we'll be using a 1/4 teaspoon of Red Star Premier Classique yeast. So let's get started. Now, as always, my equipment has been cleaned and sanitized, but just for good measure, I'm going to give it a blitz of Star San. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to steep our tea. I'm also going to sanitize our bag. Now, the bags that I'm using are low caffeine iced tea bags, so I will leave them in through the whole process. They won't get bitter. But if you're using regular black tea, you would want to take these out before you move to the next step. Even on the package, it shows that they're not very high in caffeine. And they don't steep to very bitter. So we're adding our hot water. And I could have added cold water, actually. These bags will steep with cold water. But the recipe calls for you to add cold water and then sit it in the sun for a period of time. Since we don't have time to do that, we're going to go ahead and use hot water. All right, so it's already taken on some color. And before I add my peaches, I think I'd like to add our sugars and dissolve it. I'm going to add a little bit more water so there's space to dissolve our sugar. I'm not confident that we'll be using a whole 2.5 cups, so I'll add just 2 cups and stir that in. Add all of our fruit and our other additives, and then take our reading, our specific gravity reading. That's almost 2 cups. And there, that's 2 cups of sugar. And I'll go ahead and get that incorporated. I came up with this recipe because I know everyone loves peach wine, but I wanted to try something different. I wanted to have a different flavor profile to my peach wine. And I found that adding tea gave me exactly what I was looking for. That's completely dissolved. Okay, now we're going to open our bag back up and add our peaches. I was lucky to find Pennsylvania peaches in our at the freezer section of our grocery store. Of course, if you're from Georgia, you'd prefer Georgia peaches. And if you're from California, you'd prefer California peaches. If you're from Florida, you prefer Florida peaches. I'm from Pennsylvania, so we love Pennsylvania peaches. And I'm not sure what type these are. I know the differences are clingstone and freestone. And I believe that with the clingstone, the fruit clings to the pit, and with freestones, the fruit grows separate around the pit. But I can't tell what this is. They look pretty though. Now, when this is done, I'm going to let it ferment till it's completely dry, but I am going to back sweeten it and make it a sweet wine. It just tastes better that way. And I actually like drinking it on ice the same way you would with a sweet tea. This particular recipe I make every year. I always have plenty of peach sweet tea available on hand. Peaches do a great job of fermenting too. They give you a really good balance. We're getting close. We definitely need the pectic enzyme for these peaches. I mean, we could very well make wine without adding pectic enzyme, but you might find that there's a lot of peach solids left over. Now I'm trying to decide if I'm going to blitz these a little bit with my immersion blender. I think I will. Once we get all of our water in. We're getting close to the end. Or I may not be able to, as full as this bag is. Should have blitzed it halfway through. And just a few more, and we're done. It's that one stubborn peach that's trying not to go inside. There we go. So we have all of our peaches in our straining bag. Our straining bag is full. It's amazing because I can put 3 pounds of blueberries or 3 pounds of another fruit and it won't take up as much space as these peaches are. That's very interesting. I'm not going to tie it too tight to see if I'm able to blitz them a little bit. All right, we're going to add more water. And I don't have a lot of experience with peach wine misbehaving. Like I don't get the blowouts that you might get with some other batches. Look at that. It's pretty. So yeah, I'm going to try to blitz them. And let's see what happens. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's enough. I remember being a little girl. I mean, a really little girl. And my older cousin had a visitor from down south, and they brought up with them some homemade peach wine, and it still had the peaches floating in it. It looked so pretty, and I wanted to taste it so bad, but of course I couldn't. I might have been no more than 8 or 9 years old at the time. Yeah. So that brought some of the volume down some. I won't worry about the bag floating too high up on top during fermentation. So now we can add our additives. That was our pectic enzyme. This is our acid blend. This is our dynamic duo. And peach wine loves yeast nutrient. It makes it so active. And of course, we're not using tannin today. And the color finishes off like a glass of peach sweet tea. It comes out to be a really, really pretty color. All right, I'm going to check our gravity without adding that last half cup of sugar and see where we are. I have my beaker, my hydrometer, and my turkey baster, and everybody's getting blitzed. And I'm laying everything down on a clean and sanitary towel, so nothing's touching a dirty surface while we're working. I'm pretty excited about this one. But I will be making an all black tea wine too. I remember the first time I made all black tea wine, I used a lot of tea. I used those huge iced tea bags, but I used a lot of them, and it was black and it was strong. So not only did it have a buzz, but it had a buzz. We want our wine to be a little bit more tempered than that. Okay, that's exactly 250 milliliters. And let's see where we are. Something tells me I'll need that second half a cup, but I don't know. Okay, already we're at 12% ABV. I'm going to add the other half and see if we can shoot it up a little higher. Even if it doesn't ferment to a higher ABV, it'll have some sweetness to it. So the reading is 1.080. So I'm going to go a little bit further. Let's see where we go. We'll add the sugar, stir it in. Oh. Caked at the bottom a little bit. Oops. Got it all in there. Now this is going to take a little longer to stir because this batch is now about room temperature. Yeah, I can feel lots of sugar there. We're almost there. There's still some crystals at the bottom. And not to make a huge deal about the crystals being at the bottom, but I do notice there's a difference when you don't make sure all the sugar is incorporated in your batch. A little more. Okay, we should be good now. I'm going to do one more testing. I'm getting pretty good. I'm able to do like 1 or 2 now. All right, you don't fall. You stay there. And my turkey baster. I don't mind a little extra alcohol as long as it's not so strong that you don't enjoy the flavor of the wine. Too high and it tastes like you're sipping on pure ethanol, and that's not really an enjoyable experience. A little bit more. Okay. And the hydrometer. Very nice. So this brought us up to a much higher possible ABV. The reading is 1.090. And this is telling me that my potential alcohol will be at, this tells me that my potential alcohol will be 14% ABV. So that would be nice if we actually got to that level. Now it's time to pitch our yeast. I never knew why they call it pitching, but I'll go with it. Okay. Now I happen to when we're making 1 gallon of wine, I happen to use a portion of the packet, but you could use the entire packet if you feel more comfortable with that. I feel like I get fermentation with 1/4 of a packet with no problem. Oop. I want to make sure the yeast is in the fermenter, not on the spoon. So let's stir this around a little bit. Clean that spoon off really good. Okay, that's all done. And they're getting activated already. That quickly, they're starting to get active. So I don't think it's going to take very long before we have fermentation with these. Putting our lock with our grommet on it, our lid with our grommet on it. And then we're going to fill our airlock with some Star San to the maximum fill line. A little more. Okay, we have just put up a batch of peach sweet tea wine. I'm going to stir this every day for the next 7 days just to incorporate some air into it. hitting it with the immersion blender did incorporate some air. It kind of, whirled it around a little bit. So that did help some, but I'm going to make sure I stir and add some. We will have wine within 7 to 14 days. We will have good wine within 6 months. We will have great wine within a year. And if we let it sit longer than that, it'll be amazing. But I think we'll be ready for a taste test of this in maybe about 3 months just to see where it goes. All right, so that's it for this episode. I want to thank you for joining me and spending time with me. Again, please remember to like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, tell all your friends. Buy some of the equipment and make wine with me, and we can have fun together. I really enjoy spending time with you, and have a great day.
If I'm stuck in a cloud, drifting away to get out, I'ma put up a fight. No